Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight. We have another very informative program for you this evening. I'm Julenka, of course, and we're going to be talking about TEDx. Many of you have seen TEDx on YouTube. It's a program where people talk about various subjects and out-of-the-box topics, interesting out-of-the-box topics. So we have, that's coming to the Virgin Islands, and we have the co-organizers of TEDx here with us tonight, Abby ONeill and Danica Stout, and we'll be talking to them about TEDx. It should be quite an interesting discussion. We also have with us District Governor-elect for 2018-2019, past BVI Assistant Governor, past President of the Rotary Club of Tortola, Delma Maduro, and co-chair of the District Conference, past President Kenneth Morgan. They are here to talk about the upcoming role of the new District Governor, Delma Maduro, and the second District Conference to be held here in the Virgin Islands in 2018, sometime in 2018, 2019. So that's going to be interesting, the role of the District Governor in the British Virgin Islands, the holding of the conference here, the district conference here, and the economic benefits, social and economic benefits it's going to bring to the Virgin Islands. So we're going to have a very, very interesting discussion around that topic. First, of course, we have Peter Gay Combs. He's the reporter extraordinaire at JTV Channel 55, and she's got the big stories making the news this week. Peter Gay.
Hi, Edgar Enka. So this week, opposition leader Julian Fraser and chairman of the opposition Virgin Islands Party, Andrew Foy, are at it again. Why? Mr. Foy wants to add opposition leader to his list of duties since he was elected by the party's Congress in 2016 as chairman to replace Mr. Fraser. In a release issued today, President of the VIP, Dr. Natalio Wheatley, disclosed that the party's Congress will be convening to mediate the issue as it's threatening to destabilize the party, essentially. Now, in that statement to the media, here's what Dr. Wheatley said. The Congress of the Virgin Islands Party is the supreme lawmaking body of the party and should be afforded the respect that is deserved. A meeting of the Congress will be convened. The results of the mediation will be reported, and Congress will make the final decision and chart a positive way forward, end quote. So essentially, now it appears that the leadership status quo in the VIP coming out of the 2016 Congress is simply untenable to present the party as a viable option for the incumbent government. The new chairman of the VIP, Andrew Foy, explained this as well as made his case for why he should become opposition leader when he addressed the members of his first district on Saturday.
When I gained the confidence of the party as chairman, I also gained their confidence as political leader of the Virgin Islands Party. I simply can no longer be in a fight for that which accompanies the post of chairman of the party. If I am not prepared to take up the position of premier or opposition leader, why then would I contest the post of chairman of the Virgin Islands Party? Let us put this to rest and be perfectly clear. The voices of the results of the general elections of June 2015 was deafening. Those with eyes must see. Those with ears must hear. The VIP Congress agreed that after 18 months of the 2015 general elections, there must be a shift of direction within the Virgin Islands Party if the Virgin Islands Party is to be successful in the next elections of 2019 or before.
Now, Mr. Foy also addressed the issue of the lack of communication, as he puts it, on the part of Mr. Fraser.
This is no time for massaging egos and passing awards. Without effective communication by the leadership of the opposition with the executive body of the Virgin Islands Party, the situation as it is cannot and will not work. The people of the Virgin Islands will be the biggest losers. As opposition leader, I will become chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. And as such, I will immediately broaden its agenda and more meaningfully hold the government responsible to the ideals of transparency, accountability, and good governance. As opposition leader, I pledge to consult with my legislative colleague, and together we will recommend viable individuals for each of the posts of committees and statutory bodies that are required by the Virgin Islands Constitution and laws. Both the governor and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office must seek the input of the opposition leader on matters of importance to the Virgin Islands. It is only through effective communication that your wishes, your ideas will be conveyed. I pledge so to do.
And so, Edgeworth Enka, Mr. Floyd has made his case for why he should become the opposition leader of the VIP.
Well, it's quite an interesting case. It is an interesting scenario. You know, this is what happens when leaders don't want to submit to the will of the people and adhere to the structure of the organizations they have created to govern their conduct. You know, because they want power. You know, so they don't want to. When it comes to themselves, they resist the structure and the rules governing them and the people that support them. The question becomes, in my mind, with such leaders, can they be trusted truly to lead people towards their best interests when they don't adhere to the tenets of and the structure and the organization that they created themselves for good governance. And I've heard, I've read actually where Honorable Fraser said that there's nowhere in the Constitution that says that the leader, the chairman of the party has to be the leader of the opposition. But it has been tradition, I think, in the Virgin Islands Party that the leader, the chairman becomes the premier when in government and the leader of the opposition when in opposition. I think his reference to Honorable ONeill could be looked at as a special case or extenuating circumstances, being that Premier ONeill was retiring, and so I think it was an honorable thing for him to have, spent his last days as leader of the opposition, go out as leader of the opposition. I think it's an honor that he deserved as a long time founding member and stalwart of the party and contributing so much to the territory. So I wouldn't have used that as a technicality. I think had it been me, and of course it's not me, but had it been me, I don't think it would have to been a fight for me to step aside and allow the chairman of the party to become the leader of the opposition, and But that's how it is. It seems to me that that's not a criteria, but a genetic something in leaders. That their egos, when they want power, they misstep all the time. They don't see the good of the collective. They just see what they want, and that is sad for institutions such as the Virgin Islands Party to have that kind of fight. And I think Honorable Philip should just step aside and allow the tradition to continue, whether it's in the Constitution or not. It has been so all of many years that I can recollect. And as I said, I think that the Mr. ONeill case was a special case and was a well-deserved honor bestowed upon him by the party. But I think it's good that the president is having the Congress look at it and make a determination, because the political leadership of the party in the House should also come from the decision of the people in the members of the party, the Congress of the party. So I think that's a good move, and hopefully things will turn out will for the Virgin Islands Party.
You were talking about tradition earlier versus constitution. Let's take a look at the issue of constitution, since you've dealt with tradition in terms of what applied with Ralph T. ONeill between 2014 and 2015. Now, remember that the party's new president, Dr. Natalia Wheatley, has written to the governor to have his input to help resolve this stalemate, as the governor did already in 2015. In a letter to the media, and I cannot help but say that there are quite a few deja vus at play here regarding the VIP when we look back in history in terms of how this issue has played out over time. Now, in that press release on January 17, 2015, the president stated that on December 9th, 2016, he informed the governor of the results of the November 30th, 2016 election. On December 19th, 2016, the VIP chairman sought to gain the acceptance of the former chairman regarding his intention to abide by the constitution of the party and the decision of the Congress and seek the position of leader of the opposition, notwithstanding his earlier announcement. That's Floyd's earlier announcement that he wouldn't go for opposition leader. The communication level between the past chairman and the executive committee seems to be extremely low to non-existence and comes at a time when the policies and decisions of the Virgin Islands Party must be represented in the House of Assembly by the chairman. End quote. So that's the party's president explaining the party's position as to why it is that they need a governor to step in to resolve this issue, because Fraser going forward is purely untenable from their end. Now, Fraser hit back on Monday afternoon following that presentation by Mr. Floyd to his constituents on Saturday, and this is what he said, quote, "Where were these same people when I became chairman of the Virgin Islands Party in May 2014 and the former chairman continued to hold on to the leader of the opposition post? Also, why was the attempt to wrestle the governor into denying the chairman the leader of the opposition post after the 2015 general elections? Running to the governor is an embarrassment to this territory, which every man, woman, and child living in these Virgin Islands should resent. It paints the false picture that Virgin Islanders are incapable of handling their own affairs. Let me be clear. The governor has no role to play in this matter, neither constitutionally or otherwise. Her Majesty's loyal opposition is not an extension of the governor's office, and neither is the leader of the opposition an agent of the governor. The governor never said that the chairman of the Virgin Islands Party should be the leader of the opposition. It's not his call to make. If that was his position, where was he when I was chairman from May 2014 to June 2015, while Mr. ONeill was leader of the opposition?" So, since Mr. Fraser brought it up, let's take a look at what's the role that the governor can play in this situation, or has played in this situation. Remember that he already weighed in after being asked in 2015, July 2015. At that point, he explained the rationale for his decision in choosing Mr. Fraser over Mr. Floyd as chairman and as opposition leader rather. He said, quote, "This is Governor John Duncan. In reaching my decision, I have taken expert advice, considered carefully the representations made to me by the members of the opposition, as well as a number of other criteria, in particular, past practice in the territory and other jurisdictions, the current and past positions held by the two candidates, their seniority in terms of dates of appointment to ministerial positions and length of term served in those posts, and the advice of the United Kingdom Privy Council in a matter similar to the matter under consideration." He didn't state what that matter was. So that's the governor making his last decision regarding who should be opposition leader of the VIP. But what does the Virgin Islands Constitution say about the leader of the opposition? The Virgin Islands Constitution of 2007 says that the governor shall appoint as leader of the opposition a member of the House of Assembly recommended by a majority of the elected members of the House who are members of any opposition party whose numerical strength in the House is greater than that of any other opposition party, meaning simply, whatever opposition party has the majority of members in the House, they get to recommend to the governor who should be chosen as opposition leader. In the absence of that, option B, If there is no such party, or if no recommendation is made under paragraph A, the member of the House of Assembly who, in the judgment of the governor, is best able to command the support of the members of the House in opposition to the government. So, Edger Enka, essentially at this point, there are two questions that come to mind for me. If Fraser worked with the decision of the governor back then in 2015 regarding opposition leader, how is this time around different? And two, what if the governor decides that it's Fraser who should be opposition leader? Or what if he decides that it should be Floyd? Like, what happens then for the VIP?
Well, I think the governor is not totally accurate to say the governor doesn't play a role. Clearly, the governor's role is defined in the Constitution, so he plays a role. And again, we'd have to rely back on tradition, which the governor did. He relied on tradition by saying, whatever the majority opposition party says, the majority of members in the opposition party says should be the leader of the opposition, that's who he will go with. Now, you only have two members, and so that's a different scenario. But I suspect that the governor would go along with the party's Congress in their recommendation. So we'll have to see what comes out of the meeting that Dr. Wheatley is, President Dr. Wheatley is going to convene to negotiate the situation. But as I said before, it is sad that it has to come to this. I think that that Honorable Fraser shouldn't have allowed it to come to this as a member of the party and as someone who cares about the image of the party and is looking forward towards the next general elections. That this is something that could have been easily dealt with, following the tradition, and allow Mr. Foy to take the leader of the opposition seat, and and move the party forward. But egos are unpredictable. Thank you very much for that, Peter. We're gonna take a word from our sponsors, and when we come right back, we're gonna come back with Ms. Abby ONeill and Danica Stout talking about TEDx. Keep it locked right at the Spotlight.
Spotlight is brought to you by CCT BVI, Life Unlimited, and the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official Bank of Paradise.